People, how's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. Let me just plug my mics in real quick. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to get up in here. Give me 1 second. Basically, I'm looking around to make sure I don't have any the damn jury around me, because obviously everybody is going to be going to their place of, this is a place where there's a lot of Congress at. Anyway, so let's get to it. So there's a couple of things I want to say real quick. Uh, the one thing that y'all have to know is that the prosecution puts the case on, not the defense. So the prosecution puts the case on. So often, while the prosecution is putting the case on, you're not going to have a lot of people that the defense team are going to speak to or that need to actually speak to, because it doesn't help their client. So often you'll see people get called up and there'll be witnesses for the prosecution, but the defense won't have anything to say to them that could be beneficial. So therefore, they don't ask them any questions. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I never want you to think, if any of you guys ever get on trial or whatever the case is, you or your family member ever have situations where y'all in court, I don't want you to think that your defense attorney has to speak to every single person that gets on the stand, because they don't. And I'm saying all that because I want to prep you for what I believe just happened in the court. So basically, the first thing I want to say is the defendant was late today. Apparently, allegedly, the story is he refused to get on the transport to the courtroom. Allegedly, that's what happened. He refused to get on the transport to the courtroom. So there's multiple buses, pardon me, that comes from him. I'm assuming he's at Rikers. I don't know if he's at Rikers, MTC. I don't know where the fuck he's at. But there's multiple multiple buses. And apparently, one of the things that happened was, well, allegedly, he didn't want to get on the bus to come to court. So therefore, we started court late today. We started court around 11 something. I'll get my book open. We started court around 11 today because the defendant allegedly, remember this, we don't know what happened. Allegedly didn't want to get on the bus. Obviously, we don't know what happened. We weren't there. Give me 1 second. The judge says that he's going to take preemptive measures to make sure. Oh, shoot, I think something's going on. Redheads rock. I think he said he's going to take preemptive measures. Redheads. I don't know. Don't mind me none. So the judge said that he's going to take preemptive measures to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And basically, if this does happen again, he spoke to the defendant. He says if this does happen again, basically what's going to happen is that we're going to start the trial without him. Remember, there's no obligation for the defendant to be there. It's a courtesy that is given. If the defendant refuses to show up, there is no you can't just not have a trial. Hey, the guy, he won't come to the courts. So therefore, we can't either exonerate or convict him. Yeah, that doesn't work that way. Give me 1 second. I'm going to flip to the correct page. I hate when people do that. She all the way on the phone, but she comes staying where I'm at. Why? The fuck is she doing? You're all the way on the phone. Why are you coming over to where I'm at? And then as soon as I walk away from where I'm at, she walks away. They're people, fam. I don't understand this shit. People, part of my language. Sorry about that. The people, fam. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure I find the page. Here we go. All right, so basically, there was a delay in the court today. The defendant allegedly refused to get on the bus. And then I already put out a video on Instagram talking about how there was a delay. So apparently what happened is when they couldn't find him, I'm guessing that's when he was on the other bus or whatever the case is. The judge entered the courtroom. He talked about the defendant was on his way. This was about 11:15. The judge entered the courtroom. They said he's been found. The defendant is on the way. The judge also said that he spoke with one of the correction officers, and he's not saying that the correction officer is right. He's not saying that the correction officer is wrong, but he's definitely going to accept or take what the correction officer is saying at this moment. And next time, allegedly, if there's a situation, he said that he wants them to videotape the altercation where the dude refuses to get onto the bus, just so we can be clear. His side, the defense is saying that he never refused to get on the bus. I believe that's what they're saying. And they're like, something else happened. He didn't refuse to get on the bus. I also want to add, you don't know what could be going on. Remember, all of these guys that's coming to court are all getting transported at the same time. There's no telling if there is a friction between him and somebody or whatever the case might be. And sheesh, the hips or her. There might be a situation, or pardon my language, there might be a situation where he didn't get on the bus or whatever the case is. There's no telling. In any regard, so they did have a thing earlier, and the prosecution plans on calling a witness that is going to testify as to who Danny Parker is. For anybody that don't know, didn't see our last video on this, Danny Parker is the brother of Shaquem Parker, and allegedly he was at the scene when the situation happened. They were all caught on video, allegedly. I don't know if the defense is saying that that's not him, or if the defense is saying he was there, but he wasn't up to the shenanigans they are accusing him of. I'm not 100% sure, but they do plan on having somebody to come in and point him out and say that that is him. There was a little bit of an issue regarding that with the prosecution and the defense, because apparently Danny Parker cannot be called. I don't know why Danny Parker cannot be called. I guess I'll look into that. I have no idea why Danny Parker can't be called. But they said that they have video and they have still images, and the still images are images from the actual video, and they plan on having somebody come in and identify Danny Parker. That all happened before court. There's one specific thing I want to talk about, just so we can be clear. I'm going to fast forward and past a lot of this stuff. A lot of the testimony that was today was testimony that had to deal with either the collecting of evidence. It was all police officers. There was nothing for the defense to really cross-examine about until we get to this one detective. That was the last person. That was the last person that took the stand. This detective. It was the last person that took the stand. This was interesting. Give me 1 second. This was extremely interesting for numerous different reasons. Okay, so there was a security guy. I'm going to go to the security guy first, and then I'm going to go to the last detective. I'm going to go to the people who were cross-examined. So for reasons, because everything else was just evidentiary. It was just evidence. You know what I'm saying? And all of this evidence is basically, it's a redundancy going on. So it doesn't make sense for me to just repeat evidence over and over and over again. Anyway, so there's this one of the detectives. Hold on. Okay, there was a security guy. There's a dude that's being testified, right? He's a security guy. Basically, he works for, I think the name of him is Rely and Safety. He's the VP. This I found interesting, because this right here kind of shows us where the defense might be going with their defense of the witness. So it sounds like the first thing that they're going to be trying to do, at least one of the things that they're going to be trying to do, is to discredit the video evidence. As soon as I seen them talking to this guy, the defense This is the first thing that I ascertained from the situation. And then something happens a little bit later with the detective that we're going to talk about in a second, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, so this guy, Matty is his name. He is the VP for Rely Safety. That is the video evidence that they're going to be using from there, I believe, is the one from McCoon's, the one from the building that allegedly Shaquem Parker went to after the incident happened. So basically, what the prosecution is saying, what the state is saying, is that there was a shooting. After the shooting, I'm going to say what's up to everybody after I get through with this real quick. What the state is saying, put your comments in. What the state is saying is that there was a shooting. The shooting that happened, they tagged Shaquem Parker as the shooter. Then what they're saying is that after the shooting happened, Shaquem Parker made his way up to the Bronx. So basically, there is a building on 1734 Townsend Avenue. That's in the Bronx. 1734 Townsend Avenue. That's basically where the video evidence is going to be used from, that they're saying Shaquem Parker went back to. And that's Exhibit 59, by the way. And it's the video footage from 1734 Townsend Avenue on the dates of October 30th and October 31st. So that was it. That's all that was put into evidence. Because once again, witnesses have to come and explain what evidence is often in order for the prosecution to have the right to be able to use the evidence. You have to explain while it's relevant. In any regard, while cross-examining, he's the vice president, security operations at the technology company. He's a retired sergeant. He used to be a police officer for 25 years. It's his system, so he knows the system forwards and back. They said when he was with the NYPD, he worked with the surveillance, video surveillance, and that's why I'm guessing after he retired, obviously that was an easy thing for him to go into, because that's something that he already was briefed on. It's something that he had already done. He already understood how the NYPD actually likes to use this type of technology, so that made it, I guess, easier for him to be able to transition. With that being said, they discussed feeds real quick, and I'll get into this. So basically, there's different type of feeds or different type of camera technology that's used. One of the camera technologies that's used is the ones that's just 24 hours. Those are the ones that's on at all times. And then there's the one that's used that's motion. He said that he does not like the motion one. He likes the ones that work 24 hours and they're always filming. And the reason why he said this is because with the motion one, it becomes choppy. Like you have a situation where people are doing stuff and then they leave the area, the sensor. So then now you have a situation where, you know, it jump cuts into the next time the actual video needs to be used again, because now you have more people in the motion sensor gets activated again. He said that he prefers not to use that. The ones he basically used, or at least the one that's used in this particular instance, is a 24-hour video live feed system. It is not motion activated. Then they said, are there disadvantages to the motion video? This is interesting. So the prosecution, when they asked them what are disadvantages to the motion sensor, the prosecution objected. So I'm assuming that at some point they're going to be using a video surveillance, the prosecution that is, video surveillance that might be motion detected. And this is their preemptive, one of their preemptive strikes to discredit the video evidence that might be used against their client. And so, because that's the only reason I can see them to object here. It didn't make any sense for them to object unless there's also a different type of video surveillance that they might want to use that falls in line with the current one that's being criticized, which is the motion activated video, in contrast with the live stream 24-hour video, which is preferred by the actual dude that is doing that is the specialist, just so we can be clear, right? Right. All right. So the objection was overruled. He said that there can be disadvantages. That was the question. The objection was overruled. Hold on, let me flip this page. Then they asked him, is he familiar with the motion activated? There was another objection that was overruled also. That's when he said yes, he doesn't like the jump skips. So therefore, that's why they use 24-hour cameras in their facilities. Also, he said that the timestamps and dates can be wrong. He says witnesses say they have layers of security to prevent that. So basically, what the prosecution was trying to do is lean into, because remember, what the prosecution is trying to do is to discredit the video evidence. One of the ways that it looked like they're trying to do that, in my opinion, is they're trying to make it look like the video evidence could have the wrong time stamp states, and if the time stamps or the date is wrong, that means that you can't draw a linear line from what the defendant was doing. You can't have a line that the defendant did this to that. If you could say that the time and the time and its dates stamps on the video evidence is wrong. So that's what it looks like they also might be trying to lean into, just so we can be clear. They're trying to discredit the video. And one of the ways that you could discredit the video and make and create a reasonable, somebody reasonably, not believing that there's guilt there, is by saying you can't create a linear line. My client could have been going into that building 3 hours after they said he went into the building, 2 days after he said he went into the building, which would mess up their timeline for how they say the events actually happened. So this is what they look like they're attacking. This is just me speaking. Obviously, I don't know this for certain. They said the witness time damn states can be wrong, but he insisted that his is not. I just want to be clear on that. He is insisting that his time stamps and dates are 100% correct. So they might try to use this in the future to try to discredit other information, if not this particular information, just so we can be clear. There was like 3 more objections. They were all sustained because they were improper questions. And basically, she was trying to ask him questions about the time date stamps, but they were leading. And so they were improper questions. There was 3 objections, and then she kind of just gave up because there was no way to ask the question. And also, you don't really want to piss the judge off. So if the judge is saying, I'm going to sustain these objections, and they're getting a little bit upset, you look like you're trying to disrespect the judge or disrespect the court. That might not be something that you want to do. Just so we can be clear. In any regard, I want to move on to. We're gonna go over all of this in our video when we sit in the crib, and I could actually be able to read all of this. Because remember, I got to get back to courtroom in a minute. All right, so this is the last detective that just testified. His name is Caldwell, Detective Caldwell. 23 years on the force. He works in the 28th precinct currently, or at all, one of the two. He's been a detective since 2014. And basically, he's this thing called a night watch. So basically what a night watch is at night, not every detective is available. So there's specific detectives available for whatever the nights might be, so that they can start a case and then hand it over to whoever the main detective is going to be later. So like, they're not going to be the main detective, somebody else is, but you can't have all detectives working 24 hours. So while, the detectives of this particular precinct is, at home, they off, they're not working 24 hours. Another detective will pick up the case, collect evidence, and then transition that evidence over to whoever the primary detective is going to be. They use this thing called a DD5. So they go into, the computer database or whatever the fuck you want to call it, part of my language. And what they do is, I might be talking way too loud. They go into the computer database or whatever the case might be. And what they do is they collect all the information that they've collected, they put into that database. And so therefore the primary lead detective can be able to get a hold of it and be able to, because he wasn't available at the time. They was, doing whatever they was doing, sleeping, out with the wife. I don't know. They was off. Don't work 24 hours a day. We're not doing that. In any regard, says that he worked the night shift. There was a call. It went out at about 3:31 a.m. He got to 151 and 8th Avenue, approximately doesn't mean exactly. For some strange reason, people tend to think approximately means exactly. It doesn't. It just means like a roundabout. You know what I'm saying? So he got there around 4 a.m. in the morning. At that time, there was already officers at the scene. There were already officers at the scene at that time. They already had, secured the scene, everything that needed to be done. I believe at this time also the victim wasn't there anymore. He says that the police at the scene secured. There was 4 shell casings in the street, and then they showed the evidence. Oh, he said at that point he canvassed the scene for buildings in the vicinity that might have cameras on them that they might be able to use in order to be able to solve the crime. They showed some exhibits. They were all photos of the casing and just photos of the crime scene. These were his photos, I'm assuming, that took for the most part. So they just showed shell casings. They had the cups over the top of the shell casings. Very interesting. What was also said was, and this is at 151 East, 151 8th Avenue. I found this pretty interesting though. And we spoke about this previously in other cases. Where you find the shell casing isn't necessarily where the shell casing dropped at. You know what I'm saying? So the shell casing could have dropped. Somebody could have kicked it. We talked about this in the trial with Taxstone. The shell casing comes out. Somebody could have kicked the shell casing. It could have rolled somewhere, outside in the environment. The wind could have blew it. Anything could have happened. But they did have the shell casings, and they had the shell casings on the cups. There was an objection when they asked him how many shootings he responded to. That was overruled. I don't know why the defense objected to that, but they did. There was an objection. The defense objected again. Was do not always find shell casings. Ask them, do you always find the shell casings? That's the information that I just gave you. That was overruled also. Also, so he went to a deli. That was one deli that was open. He spoke to people that worked in the deli, but he wasn't able to get the video evidence from the deli at that time, just so we could be clear. Then he said he went back to the office. And also, he was aware that there was a second crime scene, but he did not process that crime scene. And then after that, later on, he went to Harlem Hospital, to where the victim was at this time. Oh, sheesh. At this time, by this time, pronounced dead. So this is when the defense got the opportunity to speak to him. This is the cross-examine. So basically, they went over how long he was a detective. And I want to say something. So when you're testifying in court and you get caught up and they catch you and then you start whispering, I don't know who you there for, but you're not helping them. Throughout this testimony, when he was talking to the defense, you hear his voice fluctuated and it went all the way down at one point to damn near a whisper. It's already hard enough to hear in there. We need you to speak up, man. In any regard, he went over a lot of the information already. Night watch, overnight duty, when the detective from a particular precinct is off duty. Also, he's not the lead detective. I'm just going to reiterate some of this stuff real quick until we get to the meat and potatoes. The DD5 is a file detective used to communicate information to the lead detective. He says when he arrived at the scene and canvassed the exterior cameras, they would have been facing the direction of the crime. So basically, he was looking for cameras that faced the direction that the crime actually happened in. Said that he didn't get the video from the deli, but he spoke to the workers at the deli. And then they showed him the DD5 report to refresh his memory of the cameras that he canvassed. So one of the things that happened, and I want to be clear about this, is, and we're about to talk about this more in 2 seconds. So one of the things that happened is this. So apparently, this detective, he lost the book. So all detectives walk around with a little spiral book so they could jot down whatever pertinent information they might hear to help them solve the case. Dude said he lost the book, although he's not sure if that's the book that has the information in it for this case. So there's chunks of information that are not available because the first detective that was on the scene that took down the information allegedly, if we are to believe what he's saying, lost the book, and he doesn't know for certain, but he believes that the information for this crime or for this investigation, pardon me, is in that book. So I don't know how you want to accept that. I don't know how that's supposed to be accepted. I don't know. I'm gonna say what's up to a couple of people. Shout out to Bo Real. Shout out to Kyra Knows. Shout out to SC. Shout out to AP. Shout out to the few. Shout out to Washable Marker. Salute. Hope everybody's having a good day today. And as always, if anybody want to buy me lunch today, I'm accepting. I'm accepting lunch every day, even days we don't do live shows. I'm accepting lunch every day. If anybody want to buy lunch, pull up. All right, so I gotta get ready to get back in the court. So I gotta hurry this up. So basically, and this is just my opinion, I feel like this was a win for the defense. I think that the defense haven't been getting many wins. It's only been 2 days. I don't think the defense has been getting many wins, but I believe that this is a win for the defense because at the end of the day, the first detective that was at the scene now has a book that has pertinent information in it, and he doesn't know where it's at. Shout out to SC, salute with the $10 drop. Appreciate you. I also will accept drops to the super chat, by the way. Super chat, that isn't lunch money. I can't do nothing with that for like 2 months. But I'm also accepting that. I appreciate you. You the man. Pull up more often and join the green team. And thank you for showing me that you appreciate the content that we're doing out here. So hold on. I just want to be clear about something. So I thought that was a win for the defense. I think the defense has been getting mollywopped in court for the most part, even though it's only been 2 days. But I think that that was a big win for the defense, that this detective, this guy who's been on the police force for 23 years, I think they said he was a detective for 10 of those years. He's testified 50 to 60 times, and basically he didn't know to keep a record of an investigation that involved the murder. That just comes off like they're hiding something. I'm not saying that they're hiding anything. He could have just really just fucked up. People make mistakes, man. But that comes off like he was possibly hiding something. Once again, I am not saying that he is. He could have just messed up. We all make mistakes. We all mess up, man. So as far as that is concerned, I'm gonna hold on to the rest of the information from that we took down so far, because I believe that it's gonna have something to do with more stuff that's coming on later today. But as far as I can tell, and this is just me speaking, I think that could have hurt them, the prosecution's case, because he's not the lead detective, but he was the detective that basically was on the scene when it happened. And why didn't they call the lead detective? Why did they call this guy? Because remember, this guy was called by the prosecution. Why did the prosecution call this guy and not the lead detective? Also, they asked him later on, I will say this, they asked him specifically, and this is where I think they probably gained a lot of points at, the defense. They asked him about the notes. He agreed that notes are important to the prosecution. And then he also said he didn't give the prosecution the notes. Remember, all notes that the prosecution get, the defense has to get. So anything the prosecution gets, the defense has to get. Now, while y'all sitting there and wondering why this is important, allegedly, and this is something that this is not in the court records, but this is something that was objected against, and this is something that it seemed like where the defense was trying to go. Allegedly, and we don't know if this is true or not. This isn't, nothing. It was said in front of the jury, so you will hear it from me. Copy. Appreciate you. So allegedly, there was a 35-minute discrepancy with one of the videos. So once again, if they can't ascertain a timeline, that the prosecution, it's going to be harder for them to prove their case. So they need to be able to get down a timeline, a believable timeline. And if they could get down a believable timeline, then they could tell everybody what happened. If they can't ascertain the timeline, then it's going to be a little bit easier for the defense to be able to prove, you know what, they got the wrong guy. Remember, the defense's argument is wrong place, wrong time. The defense's argument is we had nothing to do with any of this. This is just the wrong place at the wrong time. So basically, if they can show that there's a problem with the video evidence as far as times being wrong, dates being wrong, that's gonna link to their explanation of what really happened. Being they didn't do anything, and we wasn't a part of nothing. We were just standing in the place, and then after we left, or whatever the case is, we found out all of this shit happened. Or we saw it happen, but it wasn't us. Like, you understand? You understand? Hope y'all can hear me. I had the mic dumb far away from me. So basically, that's what's going on over there. Any questions? Any questions? Anybody have any questions? I'm gonna put my book in my bag real quick. And if you have any questions, put it in the chat. There's a dude yelling over there, looking directly over here. You're a weirdo. I told you I just attract these guys. Anyone might be speaking really loud, but I'm not saying anything that isn't on court record. I haven't said anything. These aren't even my opinions or nothing. I haven't said anything that hasn't been already introduced in open court. I haven't said anything about anything I spoke with on the side. If I spoke anybody on the side, I generally try not to do that. I try to be as unbiased as possible. Try to be as unbiased as possible. It is what it is. Any questions? Any questions at all? I'm about to get ready to try to get back to the courtroom. Any questions at all? Do anybody have any questions? Put it in the chat. That dude is just wild as hell. He's just looking over here. I don't know what the fuck he looking over here. This is what's happening. Cynical God. Is there a warrant for what guy? He's no. Homeboy that was late to court today is in the Department of the Corrections. He's in the DOC. What happened was some kind of issue. There was some kind of issue with him getting to court. One side is saying that he was refusing to get on the transport. I'm not 100% sure what the defense is saying, but the defense is just saying that that's not what happened. I'm not 100% sure what they're saying in regards to that. I don't know if they're saying something else happened. I don't know. They're just saying that that's not what happened. They're not giving any kind of explanation. Yes, family member of Alpo was in court today. I believe it was the individual that y'all talked about the other day, his son. I walked up to him. I spoke to him for a moment. Seems like a classy guy. Seems like a classy guy. I don't know what to tell you. But also, you have to assume that when people come to court for situations like this, they still in mourning. Like even if they've already went past mourning, this is gonna stir up, feelings. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna stir up feelings. So it seemed like a classy guy. Seemed like a classy guy. I don't really try to annoy people or stand around asking them a million questions, especially in a situation where they lost a loved one. So, I just went over. He said he looked me up. He was like, yeah, I looked you up. Like, shout out to that shit. Also, I spoke with somebody that's here for the defendant. And it was dope, the fact that they even acknowledged that, generally speaking, I always give non-biased, I give fair reporting, and but we've covered quite a few cases. And that's one of the things that all of the defendants, people always say. We've covered a few cases, and that's something that all of the defendants, everybody who has been a defendant so far, for the most part, that I've spoken to, family members or whatever, they always agree that, we're fair. I'm fam. I have no dog in this, I have no horse in this race. I'm out here trying to do the best job I could do. Period. That's the only thing I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to get nobody convicted. I'm not trying to get nobody exonerated. I'm not trying to win a Pulitzer. I mean, I would love to win a Pulitzer. You know what? I might be trying to do that. But in any regard, we're just trying to give the best coverage we can. At the end of the day, then I try to make sure I save my notes. You don't never know what you could do in the future with your information, especially when you're able to add even more context to it. So I save my notes. I just do my job the best way I can, man. Wait, what? Oh shoot, I pulled out the wrong one. Hold on one second. Oh shit, both of these bitches on. Hold on one second. Turn this mic on. So yeah, I'm just trying to do the best job I can. I'm not trying to be a part of the fucking case. I'm not here trying to curry favor with one side or the other. You know, I see sometimes when us YouTube content creators show up to courtrooms, they try to curry favor with one side over the other. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not here to ride nobody Johnson. We don't do that over here. Feel me? Yeah, it's not something we do. Literally or metaphorically, just so we can be clear. Always staying away from Johnsons. Literally and metaphorically, just so we can be clear. Any questions? Any more questions? But that was dope. You know, having the interaction with Alpo's relative. That's all. You know, just gonna say Alpo's relative. Having the interaction with Alpo's relative was dope, and it was dope having the interaction with the defendant's relative. It was dope. Who said, you know, that both of them basically did, you know, some research on me to find out who I was or whatever the case is. So I keep trying to tell y'all, people know who Jack Frost is, man. Nah, it's not packed. Not packed at all. I keep trying to tell y'all, people know who Jack Frost is, man. I think I be capping. I promise you, when I show up in the courtroom, the attorneys most likely know who I am. The people in the courtroom know who I am, man. I'm fucking Jack Frost, man. Get the hell out of here. We doing things over here, and we doing them well. Anything else y'all wanna? Anything else? Anything else? Any other questions? Because I got to get back in the courtroom. I want to make sure I don't miss nothing. And I finally brought a book with me I could read whenever I get bored. I want to make sure I don't miss nothing. Yeah, so I read books. I try not to be on my freaking phone all day, every day. That's something that we need to do. Get away from whenever we getting bored, picking up social media. We got to really get away from that. That shit is messing our brains up, man. Whether you realize it or not, that shit is messing your brain up. They show pictures of the body first day. They show his autopsy photos. Why? What questions do you got? You want to know if they're gonna publicize them? They don't publicize stuff like that. Like, you need to. I doubt the who you think is gonna make it public? Damn police? Like, who do you think is gonna publicize this shit? We got 41 people in the room. Hit that. No, oh yeah, not publicly. Heck no. But they showed it in court. It was Alpo. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. They showed the photos in court.
I know you guys are a little bit young. Actually, you're much younger. You're much.
You could always tell when a person's done talk too much, and then they trying to dial it back, but they just can't because their motor's just running. Have a blessed day. Yeah, you can tell. Have a blessed day. You can tell dude talked too much, but his motor was running, so he couldn't shut it off. No, they showed his photo. He's gone. He's gone. They showed him in the morgue. So that's a controlled environment. You can still fake that, but I don't think it's fake. I don't think any of this is fake. But they showed him in the morgue. That's a controlled environment. You can fake photos, fam, and Photoshop exists. See what they've been doing with the movies lately? So yeah, you can fake all that shit. But no, it looked right here, yeah. Yes, sir. You can fake all that. Okay. You can fake all that. People always claim something is a conspiracy or claim that something is, we live in this world right now where people lie all the time. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? People be spending so much time getting tricked that, people do be believing a lot of shit is conspiracy when shit be dead on facts. It is what it is. That's why people like, news exists, I guess. People like me that document information. I don't know if all the information I document is 100% accurate, but I am documenting the information, and we know that at that point in time, this is what they said the information was, right? So that part. With that being said, I love y'all. Everybody have a blessed day. We are doing a live tonight. I'll holla at you then. Wait, there's so much BS on the internet. I have no clue what to believe. I just tune in to sources like yours. Appreciate you. How often have I been? I just want to say this real quick. How often have I been wrong? Like, name a time I've been wrong about whatever we've been covering. I haven't been wrong about anything. Think about all of those times we covering a story and people come into the chat and try to force me to say something one way or the other. And I'm like, I can't. And then they say I'm biased because I don't want to take a position on whatever bullshit they're talking about. Think about how many times I've not been wrong. Name me one time that we've covered a case or anything and I've just been wrong. Name me one time. Name me a time I've been on the wrong side of the discussion. Just give me a time. I haven't been. I'm adhering to the policies of journalism as best as I can. And not just that, from just being a human and having humanity and loving earthlings and loving, people the way that we're supposed to. I'm adhering to all of those. I'm not just out here just doing any old thing. It's not hard to make money on the internet. All you got to do is badmouth people. That's it. So anybody that's just in it for money, all you got to do is get on social media and just talk shit about somebody. There's going to be somebody that don't like that person or somebody that just loves negativity. They'll give you money just so they can hear negative things about another person. These is facts. Okay. These is facts. Look at all of the time and effort I put into acquiring information to bring it to y'all. If this is any type of scam, why would I be spending all of this energy? Even if it was a scam, it wouldn't be a scam just because I'm spending so much fucking time, effort, and energy. Get that? You understand that part? Even if it was a scam, it wouldn't be. Because I'm spending way too much time, effort, and energy to do it. It can't be. You understand? If I was on here to just simply make money, I'm a funny dude. I could just get on social media and make jokes all day about people and be disrespectful. But then I wouldn't be doing what God said to do. God said use kind words. So we supposed to use kind words when we speaking to others, when we speaking about others, and just in general. You can't always say nice things, but you can use kind words. You feel me? That's all I'm doing, fam. I'm not doing nothing different than that. The same people that'll hate on somebody like me is the same people that don't move 10 feet away from their bed all day, get on social media and talk shit about niggas. But that whole day, they didn't go 10 feet from their bed. That whole day. But they'll get on social media and talk about how somebody else ain't putting in work. They'll get on social media and talk about how somebody else ain't doing this and somebody else ain't doing that. But the whole entire time, they just went a whole week, fam, and they didn't even leave the house except for to go to the store to get food. That's the only time they walked out their door. So be more mindful of the places that you receive information from. That's all. Be more mindful. A lot of these people out here, they don't have good intentions. You understand what I'm saying? Their intentions is entirely selfish. You understand what I'm saying? And then, like, if you say you do social media and you would like to get paid, they'll say you're being selfish. You understand? That don't even make sense. Yeah, probably ain't even shower, fam. That's a fact. I just found out something. You know, women back in like Napoleon Bonaparte's time. I'm reading a book on Napoleon Bonaparte right now, by the way. So, you know, women back in Napoleon Bonaparte's time, they didn't even take showers and shit. They took showers like once a year. Real talk, fam. And that was like a sign of being prestigious, I guess. Yeah, this is real shit. I'm reading a book on Napoleon right now. That part. That's crazy. Yeah, and so they would that's why they used to have the fans and fan themselves and stuff like that, because they didn't do nothing with their teeth. They didn't do no type of anything that had to deal with taking care of you know, they didn't do anything that had to deal with, they were just assaulting your nose every 5 minutes, man. Also, remember where perfume came from. Perfume was created where? France. Hygiene, thank you. Perfume was created in France. And one of the main reasons why perfume was created was to hide the scent that motherfuckers used to walk around with. Niggas stink. Part of my language. Now, with that being said, I'm going to let y'all go. I need to get back into the courtroom. We're going to have a live tonight. She's a cutie. We're going to have a live tonight and speak on the entirety of what happened today, the things that I've currently out, and for reason, and the stuff that has yet to been reported on. I got to cut this off before we go in the building. I know in the federal buildings they don't allow. I'm assuming you can't hear either. Anyway, with that being said, I love y'all. Everybody have a blessed day. Go out there, do something good. Put God's name on it. Let people know that you come in the name of God. With that being said,